Page 37, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Let's look this over. There's nothing new being added. We're just using what we already had. I'm going to go through my routine for learning a piece of music. It's 2 lines long. I'll look it over first. 2 lines long, okay. Check the clef signs, treble and bass clef. Check the time signature, 4/4 time. We'll know all about that. And just kind of glance through it and see what's involved. I see some quarter notes and half notes and whole notes. Okay, we can deal with those. Of course, there's rests also, but I'm more concerned with the notes than the rests. Now, the hands are playing together, so I'm going to take it one hand at a time. And this is sort of, it depends on the music. If it's a simple enough piece that I can get to it, I can combine things together, then I might do that. For instance, here, the left hand isn't doing very much, so maybe I'll take both hands together rather than one hand at a time. It depends on the piece. For this lesson, I'm still going to do it one hand at a time because I want to make sure everything is clear for each hand before we put them together. So starting with the right hand, we have 3rd finger on E here. That puts the hand here. And it's just quarter notes. Make sure you know the names of these notes. And you just go through and play the whole thing through right hand. Left hand, when it comes in, is 2nd finger on a B. That's here. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and the second line is just a B, a whole note. Well, okay, we can handle that, I hope. Put the hands together. Well, it starts out, of course, your middle C position, of course. Of course. That's just right hand at the beginning. Now you have a B and a D together, these together, and then a C and an E. So we got these going again. Make sure you can do that okay. Now hold this down as you do that, because that's all 4 counts. See, it's an example of you have different rhythms in the hands. And we have to deal with that with piano because you're not always going to be playing the same rhythm in the hands. So it's different. In the second line, in the last 2 measures, you have a whole note. You're going to hold that down as you do that. And here. And lift up here as you play that. We have to get developed, and it takes time to do. It did me. I'm still working on it. The independence of the hands, where one hand is doing one thing and the other hand is doing something totally different. And this is a real challenge for most piano players. It certainly is for me. So we just take it slow and easy, and we slowly develop it. And this is one of the examples. When you have one rhythm in one hand and another rhythm in the other at the same time. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about here. I have, at the end of the first line, I have a whole note in the left hand, but I got quarter notes and half notes in the right. Now that's not too hard to do because all I'm doing is holding that down. Later on, I'll be playing other notes at other times, and that's where things get a little tricky. Anyway, once you get the notes and the rhythms, you get rid of the hesitations. Then I think about the interpretation. And again, the first thing I think about are the natural accents. 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll exaggerate them so you can hear them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. But once you really feel it, you don't exaggerate them. You just feel it. They'll come across in the music if you'll feel it. It really will. The listeners will know where these natural accents, they will hear them. It's like in the second measure. These notes, they're not all the same. The first note is the strong one, second one's down, and the next one is a little stronger, but not as strong as the first. So, bum, bum, bum. And you feel these. You feel these natural accents. It's important that you get into the habit of that. And then maybe the phrasing. Well, I'm looking for sentences and commas and things. And I see there's commas after little lamb, little lamb. Well, you have to experiment. Do you want to lift up there or not? What I like to do first is maybe play the melody quickly so I can hear the musical thought. Here. That's one thought. One musical sentence. It's like a stated sentence. Then I would lift up and do it. To me, that's another musical thought, a musical sentence. So it's like each line in this case is a phrase or a thought. So I would connect everything in the line together and then lift up at the end of the line. It's like taking a breath. Here. Then I can go back and see about these commas. Do I want to do anything with those? You experiment. Do I want to lift up between them? I don't know. I could. If it goes slow enough, you can get away with that. I don't do it if it's going fast, though. So it's a personal decision you have to make. What do you like? You interpret it as you feel it. This is why so many different people can play the same exact piece of music and yet play it differently, because they interpret it differently. They feel it differently. They'll play it at different speeds. They'll play it at different loudnesses. We haven't got into loudness yet. We will eventually. So we're just kind of playing everything in the middle. But they'll feel these phrases and all this differently. Here it's kind of interesting to lift up where the commas are. So you might want to try that, but you don't have to. You can just play the whole line connected because it's all one phrase. And then lift up however you want to do it. I kind of like lifting up where the commas are. Now in the second line, you have the second measure there, the comma. It's up to you. You want to lift up there. If you're going slow now, you can lift up there too. If you don't like that one, connect it. You don't have to lift up for all the commas just because you lifted up for one or two. Each comma is separate. You have to decide how you want to do it. So I think in this case I might lift up for the commas in the first line, but I'm going to play the whole second line connected. It's just one way to play it. I might play it different. I know I would if I played it again. Just don't copy me. You read the music, you get into it, you feel it, you make it yours. How fast you go is up to you. How fast would you sing it if you want to sing it? Let's play it together very slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I will lift up for the phrasing like I suggested, but you don't have to. It's not necessary. It's the notes and the rhythms we're after, so I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, off.